Hello, 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 hello. It is Thursday, October 15th, 2020. Feels like a pretty good day. The weather's nice outside, not too hot, not too cold. Actually, it's probably a little bit warm for October, but sun shining and things look great. Fall is here, leaves are changing, dropping into the grass and whatever normal stuff that happens this time of year. So it's a good thing, transitions. I want to point out, I already have Darlene checking in, and she said she had a RF procedure on her back a couple days ago. So I've been sleeping a bit. Well, I hope you're feeling better. I'm not sure exactly what RF means. I have some thoughts, but anyway, hope you're feeling better. And Rick Stevenson is checking in again. He's still in Ecuador. So I'm glad you're here, Rick. And I'm sure other people will appear and show up as we go along. But there's not a special topic for today. I do this live stream on Thursdays primarily to interact with people on the European side of the world, Europe, and it gives them a chance to get on here as well because of the time difference. So if there's anybody who gets on, that's who this is aimed for, but it's open to anybody. Anybody can come on and join the stream. Now, also with that, I have an option if you are interested that I can bring you on the stream itself. Down here at the bottom of the screen is my email. So if you want to be on this stream, be part of the conversation directly, send me an email and I can send you an invite and get you on the stream and go from there. If you've been keeping up with, let me see, Warren Witten is here. Only 100 degrees in Phoenix. Wow. Okay. Well, good for you. But if you've been keeping up with, all these live streams that I do Mondays and Thursdays, I know that initially I didn't plan to do one this past Monday. And my wife and I had plans to go take a trip to go to the lake, and that did not happen. So it, still did live stream and was able to interact with that. Okay, so Darlene says, definitely better radio frequency ablation. They basically burn some nerves out that keep getting aggravated by bones, squishing them due to a degenerating disc. Ouch. None of that sounds like it's fun, but I'm glad you're feeling better. Harvey, happy Thursday. Raleigh Cat Garage checking in. And Randy, hello from Iowa. It's 50 degrees here. Well, actually, it doesn't sound too bad. 50 degrees. For October, that's probably pretty good, I would guess, at least in Iowa. But here in Georgia, I'm not even exactly sure what the temperature is. But I imagine if I was outside digging something, I would probably break a sweat. Currently it's 79 degrees. So 80 degrees here in Georgia at this time. Now it's going to change. It's going to go down a little bit over the next few days and then come back up over the next week. It'll get back up into higher temperatures, but pretty comfortable. So we'll go with that. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure most of you have. I did a video at Grease Rookie Garage, hung out with Andrew, and he also did a video of me being at his garage. So that was a lot of fun, and I like to do those sort of things. I kind of, I guess if I had, how do I want to put it? If I had enough permission slips, I would probably do that every couple weeks, or maybe once a month. Just go somewhere and either help somebody with their project or film and talk to them and do different things. I think it's just a lot of fun. It's a great way to interact and also see personally what's going on with somebody's car, as we've dealt with Andrew and the problems he's having. Let's see. Matt Brooks, go Braves. Okay. I'm not much of a Braves fan, even though I've lived here I lived in Georgia 35 years, 33 years. I've lived in Georgia. I'm still not much of a Braves fan, and not a Falcons fan or anything. I mean, growing up in Pennsylvania, you have to be a Steelers fan. I mean, that's just kind of mandatory. And there's so many of us that have moved that are still Steelers fans, and that won't change. And I'm a Pirates fan. In the heart of, in my heart, I guess I'm a Pirates fan, but just don't do much with baseball. Just haven't paid much attention. Darlene, yeah, no fun at all, but should be much better until those pesky nerves grow back again. Ouch. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, none of that sounds good. Far away from Texas, it's 105 here. Wow. Yeah, but it's a dry heat, right? Dry heat. Because even 79 degrees here in Georgia, it's humid. When I got up this morning, there was, we had fog. And there's still some moisture in the grass and stuff, so it's humid, which makes it, difficult. Samuel Smith checking in. Glad you're here. But anyway, as I was saying, if I could do more of those kind of road trip things, I would do them. I really just get a kick out of it, and don't mind getting my hands dirty on other projects, But if it happens one day, it happens. If not, well, we'll just keep on making videos here in the home shop, right? Yeah. Now, I did put out a video, I guess yesterday, where I worked on that Mitsubishi Raider. I replaced the ball joints. And I know it's not typical for a lot of you that are here right now. I would say you're here for the Mustang stuff. Yeah, it's typical because that's kind of what I've become known for, is the Mustang stuff. But, I do a lot of other maintenance, and, putting in ball joints in that Raider was a different task. And I enjoyed doing it because, sometimes you have to do different things to appreciate what you do normally, in a sense. Hope you understand that. I don't mind ball joints. I mean, it's a bit of some labor, intense, not really super intense, but labor, tools involved, and, just getting in there and taking stuff apart and fixing it, putting it back together. Again, it gives you a different perspective whenever you come back in and you start doing sheet metal work on a Mustang, So anyway, that was a good video. I'm happy with it. And I'm also going to have a follow-up video to that where I'm going to replace the brake pads and the rotors on that vehicle. So I would say odds are most of you that are here listening probably don't really care, but I need to keep making videos and put stuff out like that as well. Because as I've pointed out on Monday, I'm learning a lot of different things about how YouTube operates. And I've talked about it on Monday. And I may go over it a little bit here. Most of you are probably here on Monday anyway. Let's see. Cooter Lev, taking a late lunch to catch the first hour before my next video call. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're here, Cooter. And if you didn't catch up on Monday, I talked about some things that were involved with trying to improve the channel, getting more growth in the channel, generating more revenue in the channel. And there's a lot of things that come into play that I'm still learning. I've been making, technically, I've been on YouTube for like 10 years, technically. But I really didn't start making kind of serious videos until, I guess, 2013 or so. And then as that time went on, I got much better and whatever. So that has continued to grow with the channel. But, as I've said, and many of you already know, I took my early retirement from my day job, and I have to try to make this work for me as an income source. So with that, I have to adjust my my strategies, let's say. I know I've talked to other people about it, and one of the big things that becomes an issue is something called the click-through rate. And what that means is people that click on your videos based on the thumbnail, whatever thumbnail you create. So I have to be more creative with that, because the more that it looks interesting to somebody or appealing, the more likely they're going to click on it. And the more they click on it, the more likely YouTube will promote it. This is kind of how I've understood it. So that is something I'm learning about. Also, let me get some coffee first. Coffee. Also, I've made videos that range in length. I think probably my shortest video on YouTube is a few minutes. My longest one is well over an hour. And another thing that I've learned is the fact that you make these, if the audience retention rate, let's say, or viewer time. So, and I explained this on Monday, but I'll go over it again briefly. If I make a video that's an hour long, and if people only watch, let's say I make a video that's an hour long, and the average viewership is about 10 minutes, that rate drops tremendously. What that means is YouTube doesn't see it as a valuable video so much. What they want is a video that gets watched at least to the 50% timeline. So if you make an hour-long video, and some people watch the whole thing, some people will watch 30 minutes, some people might skip through different things, but ideally on average they would like to see 50%. So again, if I make an hour-long video, even if they click on the video because it has an interesting thumbnail and they start watching it and they go, I'm not interested, well, that rate or that ratio drops tremendously. So again, YouTube looks at it and goes, we'll just let that one kind of sit on the side. What I need to do is make videos that are probably 20 minutes long, roughly. I mean, 15 to 20 minutes. And instead of trying to do like a big job, well, whatever it may be, that the video extends into an hour because I have so much information packed into it that I need to make it, a 15 or 20 minute video. Well, then I just do follow-up videos to that one, which I've been doing anyway. Whether it's the series on Jade or the series on the Brooklyn Pony or whatever, those videos, they're all connected, but not in such a way that it immediately ties you to go look for the next video. So if I did a quarter panel job or whatever, and the next video was putting on a door, well, if I do all the work on a quarter panel and it's done and it took me an hour to do it, I should have made that into shorter videos with multiple processes. And it's just a way that I have to look at it for YouTube to find value in it so that YouTube returns the value to me, basically. So anyway, if I make a video that's 20 minutes long, ideally I need somebody to watch, need everybody to watch it like 10 minutes or more. And then that I hit that 50% mark and it goes up. As an example, the latest video that I put up, and I'll just kind of see if I can look at it briefly here while I'm on here. The latest video that I did for the Mitsubishi Raider, it'll give me an assessment on it. Right now, the video is I think it's 34 minutes long altogether, but the average view duration is 15 minutes and 53 seconds. So it's past the 50% timeline. However, the click-through rate is only 1.5%. And I think it needs to be like, I don't know what the number is, 10, 15. They want you to have something that, again, appeals to people, but I'm having, great view duration on that video. There's other ones where some of my best videos, I'm averaging 35%, 34%, but then I have other ones where the number is much lower. So that also doesn't help whenever those numbers drop. Another thing that I'm learning is that whenever typically I do my videos and I do my typical welcome and talk about whatever I'm going to be doing, and then at the end of my videos, I say thank you for watching, thanks for subscribing and all those things. And what YouTube, or what the suggestion is, you do all that up front. So you thank the subscribers, anybody who's assisting or whatever way, give them some credit up front. And then the subject matter needs to be announced within the first 30 seconds. And the reason for that is YouTube also has their own listening program, system, whatever. Let's say, as an example, if you played a song. If I had a song playing right now, and the video was monetized, then the thanks, Nick. Appreciate that. Thank you. If I did a video that was monetized and there was music playing in the background, and it was to some known artist, they could do a copyright claim on it, and it doesn't matter what I have in the video that's mine. If the music is just playing in the background, then whatever revenue that I would make goes straight to that artist because their song played. So the way I understand it, YouTube also has it set up to where they listen to what you're talking about for your content. So if I were to make a video about a 65 Mustang, and it could be whatever, I need to make that pretty clear in the beginning and say, today's video will be about a 65 Mustang and trying to fit the, describe the whatever, the engine or whatever the parameter, whatever the subject matter is, and try to get that explained and out there in like 30 seconds. And then again, my understanding is that will help YouTube analyze it and go, oh, this is what this video is about. We need to promote that to people who are interested in that subject matter. So just a few things that I'm going to work towards and try to improve. And again, Nick Pixel TV is here. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate the super. That's awesome. If you haven't seen Nick's stuff, check out his stuff as well. Go to Nick Pixel TV and look at his videos. He does a lot with chainsaws, variety of different things. Neat subject matter, but give him a look. And I know he's got more plans to make his channel grow as well. But as it is, it's doing pretty good, honestly, for what he for him not even really trying to have a YouTube channel, it's doing pretty good. But anyway, so that's the idea going forward. And there's still probably some terms that I need to learn or understand better as to how things are going. And it's crazy to me that some channels, they have a tremendous following, but the information is just kind of not really, in my opinion, great. There's some subscribers who has millions of subscribers, and I'll just say Scotty Kilmer. Scotty Kilmer just yells at you for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but I think he puts out a video like every single day. And it's just kind of funny that he has so many followers, but I don't know if there's much information there. But again, he's figured out some sort of mix that gets him all the followers and obviously is generating a ton of revenue for him. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Nick. Let's see. Scott. Hello, Barry. Did you call on at 69 Mach 1? It's listed on Facebook. I did not. I thought about it, and I've looked at the pictures, and if there were more pictures, I'd probably be more interested. It's really hard to tell what somebody is offering based on one picture that makes it look really rough. But I probably should call and just get an idea what they're really offering. It might be worth it. I don't know, but thank you for that, showing me that link. Yeah, Nick, it is amazing to me. That is for sure. Yes. Well, I mean, you've got some good things going, and obviously people are interested, so that helps. Jorge checking in. Glad you're here. I'm surprised I haven't seen Jeff. Usually Jeff Reynolds lets me know that he's listening, and then he goes and picks up his wife from the hospital. So then he comes home and cooks her dinner. So I don't know where Jeff is at. So I have to call out Jeff. Where you at, Jeff? I got to have more coffee. Okay. So with that in mind, as I was thinking about making these videos in a different process, I had, I may have mentioned it, you may have seen it, pictures on Facebook, where I picked up a 2004 Honda Civic that's hitting the front end. And, normally I would probably just fix it and not even really video the stuff. But I'm hearing now that a lot of people like to see these crash car fixes, you know. So I guess I'll have to do a video on fixing up the on fixing up that Honda Civic. You know, that'll probably be a good subject. In fact, I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning, wide awake, with all kinds of ideas going through my head for making, you know, these videos. And, you know, that one is come to mind. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I just need to do a tear down, talk about what needs to be fixed, show the repairs, put it back together, get paint on it, you know, and then whatever I do with it from there is whatever happens. And then also thinking about like the Jade Mustang. Well, people love paint videos. So I need to progress that car to a point where I can start, you know, getting the paint on the car. So I need to make snippets, shorter videos that cover a good topic and have good information. But those are the two that are coming to mind right now. So I know that I've already talked about it. The Jade Mustang, I've got to fix up the right front fender. I've got to get the hood out of the storage building that I have it in outside, and probably a few more pieces of sheet metal to make sure everything fits on the front end, and then get it ready to, you know, get it ready for paint. So I think that would be a great little series. And there are, I don't know who mentioned it. I don't even know how to do it yet, if that's an option, but like chapters. I don't know. It says something about chapters on YouTube. I just have my playlist. I haven't looked at how the chapters things work. Maybe I need to investigate that a little further and understand that better as well. Katie Pixel, she made the chili on Monday. I'll give you a bell for that. So you know that's good. That's good to hear, Katie. That's good to hear. Ronald Bell, hello from Northeast Tennessee. Well, hello, Ronald. Darlene, that would be great. I learned so much from all your projects. Well, thank you, Darlene. Robert Adams, the Infernal Craftsman. Hey, Barry, just walked in the door and sat down. Well, cool. Well, maybe we can get you on the live stream if you're not doing anything. You know, send me an email and I'll send you a link. You know, I'm not sure how. I want to find out how your channel's doing. I know you're working on. Yeah, I haven't kept up with everything. I don't know how many you've posted, but obviously you did those door videos. So, you know, if you want to give me an update on that and how it's going, that would be great. But if you don't, well, that's fine too. So anyway, those are some of the ideas that I've been processing. You know, because again, I really want to make a living off of YouTube. You know, tons of people are doing it. Tons of people. I just need to get all the little dots connected to make it work properly for me. So, oh, another thing. I have another viewers project video that is processing right now. So it'll probably go up tonight. I figure I'll put it up tonight. Typically, I've been waiting till the weekend on that, but I might as well just put it up tonight. And it's it'll be a pretty cool video. It's about a '68 Mustang, but I won't give you all the details because it's more important that you watch it from, you know, the people that provided the video. So yeah, it'll be cool. All right, let me see what else we have here. RJ checking in, says hello. Harry Olson, hi Barry from Ontario, Canada. Love the work you do. Keep showing the details. That is where most people get caught up. Drag racing season is over for me. Time to start my 67 coupe to fastback. I'm guessing you're doing a conversion. All right. That sounds cool. Jack W checking in. Let's see. Robert, I would, but got head out again a little bit. I am learning quickly what to do, but implementing it is a different matter. Kuderlev. Chapters, I referred you to Alex Steele's videos, who spreads projects out over sequentially numbered videos, i.e. chapters, so a viewer can know the sequence. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't even know. Maybe I'm just not even familiar with where to find that on the on YouTube. You know, I have playlists and blah, 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 but I don't see anything that tells me how to make chapters. So maybe that's something I've been doing wrong this whole time. And I should probably label all of the Jade videos as a chapter sequence rather than a playlist. But to see, that's again something I'm in the gray about. I don't know, but I'll have to look at that and see if that works. Okay, let's see. Harry Olson, yes, doing conversion, also Coyote swap. Cool, that's very cool. All right. Darlene, I've noticed that some of the channels are set up in a really easier to follow progression for this non-tech savvy person. I assume the chapters are why. Must be. I mean, I figured if I put everything in the playlist and I have all of my videos numbered in the playlist, I figured that's all I had to do. But apparently if there's more to it as far as chapters, then I need to understand that as well. Kuderlev says he just numbers the videos. Well, see, that's where maybe I should do, maybe that's where I'm messing up, because I'm putting the numbers on the playlist. I'm not putting the numbers on the video. Maybe I should list that in the title, video number 1. I don't know. I don't know. I have to, again, I'm between a rock and a hard place on the learning curve thing, because all the stuff that I've done for the most part has been on my own. I haven't had any, much influence outside. Nick's helped me out some, of course, but I just, just not tech savvy in that aspect. So, Robert, I'm behind as the better half had 3 kidney stones, had to replace the hard drive in their computer, and I'm going to pick up the driver's quarter at Summit in a couple days. Kidney stones, yeah, no thanks. I had one. One was enough. One was enough. Tardy, but checking in. So is checking in. Sorry, I saw Tardy first, and I was like, is that a name? Glad you're here. Nick, between algorithm and user experience, that's the constant battle. Yeah. Well, and that's, again, I'm sure there's room for improvement with everything that I'm doing. I could have the best content in the world, but if it's not getting out to the right people, or if it's not being promoted, then it doesn't really matter, But I mean, I'm going to keep on putting it out there, but I've got to figure out the formula to get it to where it's improving. Which, surprisingly enough, I was looking at, just my analytic processes on YouTube, and it's showing a marked improvement recently, but that there's a flow to that. It goes up and down. It can change, daily, weekly, be all over the place, and you can't count on one being better, right? Today is not going to matter for tomorrow. Just the way it is. Wayne Warrior checking in. Glad you're here. It's funny. We're talking about this. Who was it? Harry was talking about the conversion he's doing, coupe to fastback. I saw an ad on Facebook Marketplace, and I was like, "Are you serious? Are you serious, Clark? Are you serious?" Dave Conville checking in. Glad you're here, Dave. But I saw an ad on Facebook for I think it was a 67 or 68 fastback conversion, right? And I saw the ad, and I always click on them just to see what it's about. When you see the ad, it doesn't tell you it's a conversion. It shows you like the backside of a fastback, and I think it says asking they wanted like $12,500 for this thing, and I'm like, oh, well, okay. So I click on the pictures. I'm telling you what, some people are crazy. Some people are just crazy. The guy had this thing listed. Nothing was converted. Nothing. He had cut the top of the quarters off the roof and then sliced straight through the A-pillars, which I am not a fan of that. Just saying, I'm not a fan. That's a structural member. That's a safety feature. That the windshield frame A-pillar, that all needs to be as solid as it can be. But and again, I'm not a fan. I would rather see somebody cut loose the A-pillar itself from the cowl than to hack through or cut through the windshield post. I'm just the way I look at things. But anyway, he just cut these off, and he had set the roof on top of the coupe that he had cut the roof off of. So it was just sitting there. Nothing was attached. It wasn't nothing. And it was just sitting there. And then he said, 12.5 for this project. And he said, you also get what's left of the other car, which he was implying, saying the VIN numbers and all that stuff are still on the other car. And he showed a picture of what was left of the car, and it was just literally just everything all cut up and wadded up. He would have been further ahead, in my opinion, instead of converting it to do something where you buy the one-piece floor pan and work your way up into it, rather than do that type of conversion. I don't mind the conversions, but I like them done a certain way, if somebody's going to cut the windshield post, then they need to put in sleeves. There needs to be a sleeve inside of that reinforces that windshield post. So when it comes back, you weld it back together, it's not a weak point anymore. Because I don't care how good you weld it, it's not the same as an original, windshield post structure. So that's one thing I'll point out. If you ever do one of those, put a sleeve inside of there, or even if you have to drill holes and plug weld the sleeve into the windshield frame, and then weld everything together, because you want that as solid as you can get it. But anyway, I couldn't believe he was asking $12.5 for a total project. I mean, there's no way that is worth that kind of money. And it was the body he set it on, or the floor pan, was a 6-cylinder car. So really would have been difficult to make sense of it. And just my opinion, though. Let's see. RJ, I can share your videos on our Norwegian Mustang pages on Facebook. Well, that would be awesome. Yeah, please do. Joe Peltola, if I send you some pictures, video of my 66 Fastback, can you tell me what you think? Well, yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, send an email or whatever. Robert, for $12.5, I would just build a Fastback from scratch. Yep. I'm with you. I mean, the conversion kit is $5,000, roughly. So with that, you get full, complete sides. You get quarters, the roof panel. I think you get the deck lid, tail panel, all the stuff, all the pieces behind, the A-pillars. But you get solid windshield frames. You're not cutting into, pieces. And that's what makes me nervous about it in the long run. Like I said, when somebody does one of those conversions, and the windshield post gets cut like that, then they tell everybody, it may tell them it's a conversion, but if the person isn't familiar with the process or how it was converted, there's probably some liability involved with doing it that way, because to me that's a structural member that has to be solid. Kudos, the people who have followed you will view your videos beginning to end. The art is to balance how long it takes to provide helpful info against the ever-shortening attention span of the public. That is true. We are living in more of a microwave society where everybody wants, immediate results, immediate answers. And it could be everything from whatever you're doing in life to things we see on TV that we're spoon-fed, stuff that happens. We see videos of whatever may be going on TV, and then we see people reacting and destroying things because of what they perceive. and then, the truth could come out 3 months later. Doesn't matter. Nobody really cares at that point. They want their immediate response. They think that's the way to do things. So you're right. That is kind of how we become as a society. It is right now or not at all. So, and it's unfortunate. There's things that take time in life, and one of these is building a Mustang. It takes time. You're not gonna. You can't just slap it together. Just not gonna work. Not gonna work. But anyway, so if you're interested in a really expensive fastback conversion project, there's one on Facebook Marketplace, 12.5. It can be yours. Not me. Let's see, Harry Olson. There are guys selling fastback roof sections for over $3,000 Canadian. To buy a fastback car now is insane. Yeah. Well, that's why I'm not against doing the conversion, but I like the kit. Like Dynacorn sells a kit, and to me that makes more sense. You get a whole, everything is formed, matched, shape, whatever. And I would do one of those. I keep looking at cars on Marketplace that are for sale, and I found a few that were interesting, but it would have to be the right one for me to do a conversion on it. Just saying. But yeah, $3,000 for the fastback roof section. That's crazy. Robert Adams, my door skin video should have been chopped up into smaller bits and show each step as a different video, but you lose context when you chop it up. Yes. And the thing is, and you can't do, to me, I wouldn't do a 6-minute video and just put out another 6-minute video, whatever. But there's a lot of ground you can cover in a 15-minute segment or a 20-minute segment. And like in my instance, let's say I wanted to start working on, which I will start working on, the Jade fender. I've got the right front fender that I've already pointed out has issues. I know it has issues, but I have to remember that any new viewer that comes to the channel, they don't know anything about that car. So I have to try to remember to emphasize to them, hey, look at this video and look at all the other videos that are in this playlist or whatever. But I can do a video on assessing that fender versus the replacement fender that I have that is also used, it's an aftermarket fender. So I can kind of do some assessment on that. Hopefully do it in 15, 20-minute segments, and then do the prep work on the replacement fender that I will be using. Maybe add some secondary stuff to that. I'm not sure yet. And then have it ready, do maybe a primer video on it or something. I should be able to, I think I could turn it into 3 videos on that fender, because it's, like I said, they got to be shorter. It just has to be shorter. Jerry checking in from Tennessee. Hope things are good. I don't know where I think when I was up there at Jerry's, he had talked about trying to go to a cruise-in with the Mustang. I don't know if he got that accomplished or not. I know he's trying to get it put together so he can go to that, but I haven't heard back and seen how that went. Darlene, a 20-minute segment is perfect watching during my lunch, half-hour break, so perfect. Okay. Good advice. Then I will see what I can do, because it just makes sense, Robert, I also see the balance between teaching how to do it and just showing how to do it is being tough to figure out. Yeah. Yeah, it is. There is a tough balance, and it has to have. That's where, I'll film a lot of stuff, and I try to incorporate everything that I film. But like as an example, the video that I did on the Mitsubishi Raider. Hold on just a second. The video that I did on the Mitsubishi Raider, I filmed a bunch of secondary stuff that was, after I started looking at it, I'm like, well, this is kind of pointless. Because it was. I shot my opening, and I I shot a video and I put it like at the end where, I drove the truck into the garage, opened up the garage door, drove it into the garage. I had other things with that really didn't make any sense. But I also had filmed, and this is where I had to get creative because I was still incorporating useful information, I felt, but making it overlap the video in progress. As an example, I showed the squeakiness of the vehicle by bouncing the suspension. So I had the camera set up and I did that. And then also the squeakiness of, that's the word of the day, squeakiness. I also did the noise in the bearing, in the ball joints. By turning the wheel left and right, you could actually hear it squeak. It wasn't the tires on the concrete, but it was that. So I also filmed a brief shot of the wheel covers because it has Dodge, Dakota wheels on it. It's really just a Dodge Dakota. Well, what I did, because I had shot those, I had thought about having those in between segments. But then I realized, wait a minute, I don't need to do that. My editing software, I put it on top of my video, in effect. So as I was talking about it and saying, this is making noise, then I had the action of the suspension squeaking and also the ball joints. And I had the action of the wheels turning and making the noise. And I said, also, this is a Dodge. I put that on top and had the logo, the Dodge wheel cover in the logo. So maybe my approach isn't so much that I'm limiting what information I provide, but that I make it connect together so that as I'm doing that, the information is still there, but it's also while I'm talking about it, sort of thing. So I have to be creative in that sense as to how I want to put those pieces together. Anyway, so that's just another aspect of the process. Jerry, he made the cruise in with the Cobra. Good. And then he says the 66 should be ready to drive next week. All right, that's great. Karsten checking in. Good afternoon. Harry Olson, you are lucky how cheap the parts are in the U.S. The kit for fastback conversion is 8,000 Canadian plus shipping. Wow. Yeah, that is crazy. Now I don't know how hard it would be for somebody to. I don't know how that would be looked at. Like if somebody in the States bought 5 of these kits, put them in the back of a U-Haul, drove across the border. I don't know how that gets looked at. Are they going to say, "What are you delivering? What are you bringing into the state or into the country?" I don't know how that gets looked at. Haven't considered that before, but wouldn't surprise me if there's people doing it somehow or some way, transporting parts like that just across the border. Wouldn't surprise me at all. So anyway. So that's the idea of the videos and stuff moving forward, trying to make shorter but still good videos. What else was there? There's something else I was thinking about. I mentioned the Viewers Project video, and let me see if I had. Okay. Oh, I did have a question that was sent to me by an email, and this was Joey had sent me this question, and I don't know if I have a good answer, but if anybody has any thoughts on this, let me know. He was asking the question: when you were doing the convertible build, did you have alignment issues with the rear leaf spring front bolt? While checking everything measurement before starting to weld, we found the right side hole is 5/8 of an inch off, which I would fear caused the rear end to track off. Have you heard of this before? Now, I have not responded back to his question yet. I don't know what that was. I have not responded back to the question yet because I haven't looked into that. With the Brooklyn Pony, it's got panhard bars that are adjustable. So if the bolt hole is off, slightly. Doesn't matter. You can adjust it with that panhard bar. So I don't know if, well, I say panhard bar, it's 4-link, but there's adjustment built in. So I don't know what the answer is on that. If they really are 5/8 of an inch off, I don't know. But if somebody has any input, by all means, please share. Otherwise, my answer will be to him is I don't know, because I don't. I hadn't even thought about it. Okay, so Harry is saying duty taxes and conversion on dollars. So I guess they look in every vehicle that crosses the border. I don't know. Again, I haven't even considered that idea before. It's almost like when I had the garage, I had electricity brought into this garage. Now, I built this garage. Me and my neighbor helped me build this garage. Somebody's hot rodding up the street. But when I had the power brought in, I have a separate meter on the wall. In fact, you can see fuse panel right there, right? Well, when I had that brought in, they were adamant about putting in a heavy piece of PVC coming up from the outside, coming into the wall, and then going up into the bottom of the panel. And, me being, I guess, too honest, naive, I don't know. I was like, well, why do you need that big heavy PVC? I mean, what's the point? It's in the wall. It's not going to go anywhere. And he looked at me and he realized that I hadn't even considered this idea that you could tap into it before the meter. I hadn't thought of that. It just never crossed my mind that somebody would do that. But I know it happens every single day that somebody will tap into, get into the meter draw power out before the meter. But in my mind, that just doesn't even, I'm not that person. I wouldn't imagine doing that. But that's why they put in a big heavy pipe so that you can't just easily access the power line coming in and rob electricity. Never crossed my mind. But, like you're saying with these fees and everything, I'm sure they check everything that crosses the border. It's funny. I was thinking it just came to my mind, a memory that I had years ago. And I mean, probably maybe 20 years ago. I don't even remember exactly. I tried out for a TV show. The TV show was on, I don't know what channel it was. I don't remember anymore. Might have been, I don't think it was a History Channel. Maybe Discovery, something like that. And they had put out a casting call for people to try to get on this TV show. The show was called, and it didn't last long, the show was called Escape from Experiment Island. Escape from Experiment Island. So I'm sure you could probably find links to it somewhere. But the casting was down in Florida. So I told my wife, I said, I'm going to go try for this, see what happens. So I jumped on a plane, flew to Florida, and I did not know it might take more than a day to do this. I thought it would just be good. Fly down, do something, interview, fly back, be done. No. So I got down, and they had a bunch of people there, and I'll get to the meat of the story here in a minute. But I get down there, and we had done the testing, and it was like an interview to see what kind of background you had. They were looking for to create 4-person teams that would have had like somebody with good mechanical skills, somebody with good analytical skills, somebody with good verbal skills, let's say, and somebody who had no skills at all. And so in the interview process, I passed all their, questions and whatever. And then we had a hands-on test where you had to build something out of a pile of junk, and you had to do something else out of this, or, complete different tasks. And I blew through all that stuff. And at the end of the process, that was actually day 2 for the hands-on testing. So I had to spend the night in Florida. Well, I didn't plan on renting a hotel room or anything. I was like, well, I'll find a place to sleep. I don't know, whatever. And I think I had a rental car, so I was going to sleep in a rental car. So I really don't care. Well, I ended up making a brief friendship with somebody there, and the guy offered me. He said, "If you want to sleep in my hotel room, you're welcome to the floor, whatever." And as it turns out, he actually had a second bed. He had a double bed or 2 beds. So I stayed at his place, and I returned the favor for him. And I think at that time, there were some, and I don't want to go into detail about it, but there were some benefits you could gain from the airline industry that I could offer for him. Anyway, so we already exchanged some favors and getting him, whatever. So anyway, I did the second day of testing, and the guy that I shared the room with, turns out he was like an electrical guy. He really had a great understanding of electrical stuff and what you could do and not do and different things. Well, he figured out, and I don't know what the voltage is, but the phone line, the hard line coming into your phone, if you have one, wired in, well, you don't think about it. Like when the power goes out of your house, usually the phone still works. Well, it's because it's got its own power source, And somehow he tapped into that power source from the phone and rigged up lights in his house that operate off of the power source coming in from the phone. It's only like, I don't know what he said. I want to say 40 volts or 36 volts or some odd number. But he used low wattage lighting and, had these in his house, and he was getting free power, sort of, from the phone company. But, I was like, well, I never even would have thought of that, because that's just not how my mind works. Anyway, he ended up being on the show. Whenever it came time for me to be my final evaluation, they said, "We don't want you." And I said, "Why not?" And they said, "You're overqualified. You perform too well. You wouldn't have any trouble getting off of our island." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So that was a turn down. But anyway, I ended up watching. I saw the show, and that guy was on it. And I don't think it lasted very many runs for the show. It wasn't popular enough at the time, but it was fun, getting involved with that and experimenting. But that's, again, the story is about the electricity and how he was stealing electricity from the phone company. So, Ricard checking in. Yeah, I haven't seen you on a live stream in a while. Glad you're here. Armando Martinez. I love working from home. I quickly come to garage and work my 67 Mustang while watching your live stream. Well, that's a good thing to do, Armando. Glad you're here. Yeah, I don't know how long the stream will run today. As it, I might just go an hour, because there's other things to do, and I need to finish taking care of the viewers project video that is right now processing. So I'll have to get that up. That'll probably come later on today, maybe by 5 or 6 o'clock. I'll have that up. And it was like I said, it was a good video. There's some fun segments that I used. Well, you have to see it. You just have to see it. I don't want to talk about it. You have to watch it. You have to watch it. It's kind of like whenever you look at these debates or politics, and they tell you, I don't want to tell you what we're going to do. It's kind of like you have to vote for it, and then we'll let you know what the result. We'll let you know what's inside the package. You know what I mean? There was years ago we had a healthcare package. They said, they kind of shoved it through Congress, and they said, we don't even know what's in it. And they said, well, you have to vote for it, and then you'll find out what's in it. So if you remember that, that was a big thing. Was the only way you'll find out what's in it is if you vote for it. Kind of like today, we've got, and again, I don't want to get too into political stuff too much, but we currently have a judge who is up for Supreme Court nomination, and I've been listening to I've been listening to NPR. You know you're getting old when you listen to NPR on your car radio. But part of that problem is for some reason I can't pick up any good stations. So I get NPR. But I've been listening to the process of these questions and junk that they're asking this judge. And she's pretty awesome. She's solid. But they'll ask a question and I say, how would you judge, or what would be your position on this? What would your judgment be on this? What would your judgment be on this? And she's pretty responsive and says, well, I can't say how I would judge on that because I'm not before that. I haven't had that presented to me in that manner. It's almost like in the same respect as whenever they were talking about the healthcare thing, you tell her she should be saying, well, if you want to find out how I will respond, you need to approve my nomination. Then you'll know. But the reality is they're asking her questions that she cannot answer because she's never been presented those questions. Like, how would you vote on whatever? Doesn't matter what the subject matter is. How would you, or we not vote, but what would your judgment be? And until you're in those shoes and you have seen, heard, studied, researched, and came to a conclusion, you can't say, well, this is how I'm doing it. I mean, you may have an opinion, but to be fair, you can't come out and just say that. You can't say, I am going to be for or against X. Your opinion could change based on the evidence presented, But I just hate the way they're trying to manipulate it and trying to get her to get caught up in some sort of loophole where she says, well, I would go this way or I would go that way. Anyway, I look forward to her being the next judge on the Supreme Court. I can say that. She's awesome. Every time I hear her talk, I'm like, this woman is stone cold. She doesn't get flustered. She doesn't panic. She gives an answer. She's upfront. And I think she's going to be an awesome judge. Anyway, I'll step off the political box. Ricard had some health issues lately, holding me back from most everything. Slowly recovering. Well, here's to a good recovery. I don't know what's going on, but I'm hoping things go well for you. Jorge, did you sell your go-kart? No, I did not. Nope. But I learned a lot of lessons. I do have a hard head. So, yeah, I'm not going to, I don't plan on sell it just yet. I don't think I've created enough of a, what's the word I want to use? I'm not afraid of it. It was my own stupidity that caused me to roll the thing. But anyway, no, don't plan to sell. Kuderlev is checking out. All right, get back to work, man. Rick Stevenson, I've been bored here, so I started watching your videos. Started with my 70 fastback, then the lately Mustang Mystique Jade, and I'm currently halfway through the Brooklyn Pony. Awesome. Needless to say, I have a lot of time on my hands here. I'm sure. And there's also, if you started with the 70 fastback, there's also some videos on the 68 that I did at the body shop where I put in AC, the 65 Galaxy convertible. There's videos on that. Trying to remember what all. There's so many things that I've worked on. There's 600 videos that you can watch. So by all means, thank you for watching. Bob Shoemaker, those hits on our noggins make us learn. Yeah. Well, I've had probably, I don't know. I've had a lot of hits to the head, I guess, over the years, mostly as a teenager or whatever. But, it takes something to teach us respect, I guess, for stuff. When I was a kid, and this is kind of a junkyard story, but kind of not. The old farmhouse that was at the junkyard, my dad put on a front porch, and the front porch was poured concrete, block wall, and it stuck out from the house, but it was, later enclosed. It became an addition to the house to make the front room bigger, whatever. So it almost looked like a porch sticking out, but it was really an addition to the living room area. Anyway, I think the drop from that was probably 5 or 6 feet from the top of that, what would have been what would it look like? Let's say a porch, but just 5 or 6 feet off the slab. And probably I would think I was maybe 3 or 4, young and not having any fear of stuff. And at that time, I remember seeing Evel Knievel on TV. Evel Knievel he could jump stuff. Well, the story goes that I took my tricycle and drove it straight off of that 5 or 6 foot wall, straight down into what would be a gravel parking area, and bam! And I ended up splitting my lip open, underneath my nose. Well, Mom got me all patched up. Everything was fine. So I got right back on my tricycle and did it again. Drove right off, crashed. So I think I have 2 scars, little scars right here underneath my nose from where I did stupid things when I was young. But we all do that. Ricard, quick question. I've noticed a lot of people use weld-through primer when plug welding panels together. How big of a deal is it to weld panels together bare metal? This is a really good question, Ricard, because I've learned recently that I think on the label or something on the 3M, they tell you to remove if you put weld-through primer on, to remove it from where you're going to weld, right? It says something to that effect. And the idea is it's supposed to protect like around the weld, not the weld itself. And that makes sense because the weld is just going to destroy whatever you put in there. I've used weld-through primer, and honestly, I can't say that I want to continue using weld-through primer for that reason. Because if they're telling you to remove it, how are you really gaining anything? Because you figure you would have to, the term says weld through primer. Well, yeah, you can weld through it, but are you really just putting the primer around where the weld would be? Because it affects the weld. You can hear it sputter and make bad noises when you start to weld with that. I don't think it's that critical. I think it's a marketing tool that they've created so that they can sell more products. Because I've had mixed results with it. And the more that I go on, the more I don't want to use it. Now, I could put it on around where the welds are just because, but ideally, I don't think it's necessary. Now, you may look at it and go, well, how do you treat the metal? But and as you're saying here, Ricard, I believe the Mustangs were welded together in the factory bare metal. Yes. Yes, they were bare metal, and they were spot welded, and they didn't have anything. They didn't have any primer. In fact, that's why the cowls rusted out so bad. They didn't have anything in them. Interior of the car had maybe overspray. Didn't really have much on the floors at all. But the reality is, we're not building cars that are going to be out in the weather every day. Seriously, how many of us are going to build a classic car now? And I mean, there's some people, yes, that will use it as a daily driver. I understand that. But most of us, probably 99%, we're going to build a car and only drive it once a week, a couple times a week, maybe once a month. Who knows? When it's not being driven, it's typically going to be in storage. So if we do the steps now, like the cowl, if you paint the inside of the cowl when you put on a new one, you're going to extend the longevity of that part for who knows how long. Anything we can do to prevent rust is great. But I'm really becoming less of a fan of the weld-through primer. It just doesn't really interest me too much anymore. And I've had people ask me before, they see me weld something, and like, well, you didn't use any weld-through primer. Well, it's kind of like spoon-fed an idea, and we just kind of run with it because that's what we're told. So, but again, if you were to treat everything after it's welded together, I think it's gonna be just fine. Scott, do you get credit for people rewatching your videos? Yeah. Anytime that a video is watched, or there's ads on the video and the ad runs, all that counts. And so it counts as a view, it counts for watch time, and so yeah, any reviews, or I've had people, they've watched my videos many times to catch details and stuff. So yeah, by all means, keep watching over and over and over and over. Winged Warrior, if you use weld through primer at the weld, you're basically adding dirt and weakening the weld. Yep, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. I mean, now on the Brooklyn Pony or any other car, the Dynacorn, they coat the thing in weld through primer. I'm not going to clean that off. I'm just not. It's there. It's for any kind of, because if you look at all the welds that are involved in putting that car together, you could go in and scuff over any kind of bare metal areas, but for the most part, it burns it out really good. Ricard, my Mustang has seen more water from being washed than being out of the rain. Yep, exactly. That's my point. And yes, you're welcome for that answer. And that's where I stand. I mean, there may be other people that want to argue with it, but if they want to use it, use it. Cold coffee. Okay. All right. I think this is going to be the end of today's broadcast. It's been over an hour, and like I said, I have other things to do. And Harry Olson, I've watched almost all your videos, some twice, but not the commercials. Yeah, I understand that. But that's where really the revenue comes from, is letting the commercial run. Like if the little pop-up comes on the bottom, a little block, a lot of people immediately click that off. Stuff like that can sit there and just stay there. It helps. And I think what they want, ideally, any of those ads, is just like anybody else. They want you to click on it and then go to their site and buy stuff, which again, that's not what I'm asking. But if you can let the ads up for a period of time, all that helps with the process. All right. Yes, Randy, by all means, thumbs up. Appreciate that. And I'm going to get that other video finished up and prep it to be released. I don't know, 5 or 6, something like that. Oh, wait a minute, Darlene. Yesterday I left my phone running through 2-hour-long commercials while I did other stuff. Okay. Rick, hope everyone has a great weekend. I agree. Ricardo, let the commercials run and just jump to another tab to watch something else, like ordering parts while they play. Well, there you go. That's a good call. Bob Shoemaker, thoughts on Amazon $200 plasma cutters? I have not seen them. I have no thoughts. Sorry. And thumbs up from Rick Stevenson. Okay, so I'm going to call it a day. I'll be back. At least I'm pretty sure I'll be back. Should be Monday night at 7. And we'll talk about other stuff. See what's going on in the world. But thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.